Okay, welcome back to Hanger 51. So I've got a new Spitfire we're gonna be looking at here shortly. I'm gonna just start off with this is a Spitfire Mark. I think it's a Mark 5B. I have no idea what that means, but it's got this scoop on the front of it. This goes right up against the spinner. Okay, right here, this part. And it's angled kind of like this, and this scoop is right here behind the spinner. I hate it. I hate this scoop. So I'm gonna fill this little area in here with Gorilla Glue, and then I do my water expansion deal, and then I'm gonna cut this scoop off, and that'll get me into the Gorilla Glue where I can and then I can cut this off and reshape the bottom of this so it just has a nice smooth chin like all the later model Spitfires, a 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. I just don't like this scoop. Now I bought 2 of these Spitfires, so if this doesn't turn out well, I can always order another one of these, but the other Spitfire will since I bought 2 of them, I can always use the other one for that. So let's get started here. Let's just go ahead and mix up some Gorilla Glue. That should be enough. This stuff really expands a lot, so that should be plenty. All right, and we're just going to use this barbecue skewer to mix it. We might add a little more. I always make too much. I always think I don't have enough, and then I add more, and then it's way more than I need. Just because of how much this stuff expands. It's crazy how much it expands. This is a pretty big area we're filling here. Way bigger than the wing. So let's add some more. I think we're going to need it. All right, that should be enough. Alright, so we'll just keep mixing this in the water here. I got 2 cups here because we're gonna pour the excess water into that one. So this won't take long, guys. We're just gonna, I know it's like watching paint dry, you're watching me mix up glue. But it'll work. It'll be fine. Yeah, this will be plenty. So if you're new, you haven't seen my other shows. So this is Gorilla Glue, the regular brown, orange colored one, whatever. And if you really stir the water into this and really make a heavy mixture, this stuff expands like crazy, and it really aerates it, and it makes it so easy to cut and shape this foam because it's gonna actually make foam, and it's not going to be EPO foam, but it doesn't have to be. It'll be close enough. It works great. You'll see. The end result will be great. But you got to mix this stuff up really good with the water to get that kind of reaction with it. So you just got to keep stirring it until you see it start to tan. When it starts to tan means that it's kicking off. And then you pour off the excess water, and then you get it in wherever you're going to put it. And then it's going to expand like crazy. It doesn't take very long. You only got to mix it for less than 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. And the end results are amazing. I know it seems like a lot of work, but it's not really. You just got to keep stirring it, guys. It's don't think until you start seeing it turn tan. Just keep stirring it. That's the trick. All right, you're gonna see it start to when it starts to start turning tan is when it's kicking off, and that's when you can stop stirring it. Until then, okay. So I think we're there. I think it's starting to kick off. Yeah, it's starting to kick now. Okay. So let me just make sure we've got good coverage on all of it. And I see it's starting to kick. Okay, so we're going to pour off the excess water. You can't overdo the water. It self-eliminates itself, okay? It'll only accept so much water, and then it stops. You just pour off the excess water. And now we've got a pretty good slathering here, so let's just pour it in here. See, it turns into this tan color stuff. And this is because it's going to aerate really, really well. So we got to get all this in here. And I probably have way too much, but that's easy. It's easy fix. You can just cut it out. It's super easy to cut out. So all right, so I'm going to just spread it around in here, get it in all the corners, all the areas. We do have a little too much water in here. Let me drip or pour off that water. Okay. And then we're just going to spread it around in here. Make sure we got good coverage on all the walls. And then it's going to just foam up and work its way to itself. So we get that over there. All right. All right, well, I'm going to switch cameras real quick just to show you. Don't worry about the background. The background's going to suck on this camera. That's okay. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's just a low amount in there on the bottom. And you're not going to see it expand because it's way down inside. But I will show you that after it dries, I'll show you it again and show you how much it expanded. So let me stop the video here. Hang on, let me put it back on the other camera so I don't forget. I got some glue on my hands I got to get off. This stuff is really sticky, so you don't want to leave it on your hands. Okay, so we're just going to let that do its thing, and it's going to be way too much foam, but that's okay. So you saw it was just coating the bottom and the sides there a little bit at the bottom, and that's fine. And it's going to expand all the way up. And I might actually grab some more of this and put it in there, just for shits and giggles. Just on the walls here. I like to wipe it on the wall everywhere it's going to go, so that it's got a firm contact on the walls and stuff, and then it'll fill itself in to the rest of it. But I like to just rub it on the walls to make sure I've got a good good base for it to stick to. I don't know if it's necessary or not. It's just what I do. So let me get the rest of this out of here. I'm sure I have more than enough glue here, but we'll just so I don't waste any of it. All right, good enough. All right, so we're just gonna let that dry. Get the rest of this off my hands. Oh yeah, it's going crazy here now. Holy crap. Yep, so it's gonna have more than enough foam in there to do the job. It's gonna be way more than I need. But that's easy. Like I said, you can shave it off pretty easy, so won't be a problem. And I'll just give you a quick, let me change the camera back for 1 second here. And I'll give you a quick, how quickly this is expanding. So look at it already. It's already almost up to the top of there already. And it's still expanding. So it's expanding really, really quickly. All right, so I'm going to stop the video now here, and then when it dries, I'll show you the end result. Okay? All right, so be right back. Okay, guys, so here's the finished product. You can see it's way up inside the... I'll do a close-up here real quick here. Switch over to the other camera. And see, now you can see just how much, it's like a loaf of bread. It expands just like watching bread rise. So we've got that giant thing which has completely filled this whole section down here with this foam that shaves just like, you know, it shaves like, just like foam. You can just, it's not completely dry, so it's not shaving as easy as it would, but you get the gist of it. It just shaves right off. Once it dries completely, it must be still a little bit rubbery. It just slices like butter. So anyway, so that's what we got. So we'll start carving it up here in a minute. I'm not ready for that now, but we'll get to that. So let's switch back to this, and then we'll stick around. We'll be right back. Get back on the. We're gonna put it on the air. Well, I think I'm gonna shave it first, and then we'll put it on the airplane and finish, you know, molding it to the shape I want. So stand by. Okay, welcome back to Hanger 51. Let's continue on with my scoop removal. So what I did, of course, you saw this had a big hump in it, like a loaf of bread. I trimmed that out with this knife so that it would fit back on the airplane okay. And now we're going to go ahead and cut this this scoop off, and it has to go all the way down to here. So we've got a lot of sanding and molding to do. So I think what I'm going to do is start here. And let's just go straight down this way. Okay, so you can see, let me change cameras here. I want you to see what happened here. So what I did, you can see now where the white foam is and where the yellow foam is. The yellow foam is the Gorilla Glue, and it filled that whole cavity in so that I can now form this into what I want. And now we're going to cut from this side, and we got to cut this off this way. And I'm going to try to go out at an angle here to give myself plenty of room to mold this thing the way I want it. Okay, so you can see there we've got all that foam, and so now we're just going to start shaping it, following the lines of the way the thing wants to roll. Okay, so I'm going to stop the shaving here. This gives me a general starting point here. Actually, I can cut this down here a little bit. Yeah. Okay. All right, so that gives us a kind of shape like that. And all right, so now I'm going to start sanding, and I'm not going to have you watch me sand it. I'll just show you how the finished product is once I get it where I want it. So I'm going to turn the camera off here, do some sanding, and then we'll get back to this. So keep watching. I'm going to leave it on this camera, but just keep watching. We'll be right back. Okay, so I got this all rough sanded. We got a nice rough sanding of it. And this is what we got. You know, a nice rounded belly pump, you know, on the nose now. No scoop. That's all gone. It's got a nice flatter end there, the tapers, and then this end here has got quite a roll to it. Quite a hump to it. And I think that's going to work out pretty good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mix up another batch of Gorilla Glue, and I'm not going to mix so much water into it, just a little bit, to fill in all those pock marks. You see how those are pretty big. I really don't want to fill those with the wall spackle. Some of them are pretty deep. So we're going to give it a quick coat of Gorilla Glue. Let that dry, and then we'll come back and sand that all smooth, and then we'll do a coating of the wall spackle, and then we'll throw some primer on it, and that'll give me a chance to really make sure that this is a very uniform sand, that everything is even across the board, and you know, get a final look at it before we commit the paint. So, all right, guys. So that's what we're going to call it, and we'll be right back. Stand by. All right, so I've got it shaped the way I want it. It's pretty close. I might have to shave a little more off, but I'm pretty happy with this. This looks, you know, pretty good. It's, you know, it's on nice and tight. The wing actually holds it on, and eventually I might glue it too. But it's right now it's secure, and the wing is holding it on. So this is the Gorilla Glue. You know, I shaved off the scoop. That's the back of the scoop was here, and the front of the scoop is here, like that. And so that's what it looked like. So I shaved these off. I'd already filled it with Gorilla Glue, which I'll show you here. More of my Gorilla Glue technique. So that's what it looked like inside. Of course, I shaved that down so it would fit back on the airplane. It was bowed up like just like a loaf of bread. And then this side is very porous. You see all the little pock holes in it. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to have to do this in a couple stages. Some of these holes are deep enough that the spackle might not dry. So we're going to have to push it down in those holes, you know, and just smooth it off, you know, wipe it off, and then let that dry, and then we'll put another coat over it to get a finish coat. So I'm gonna have to do it in 2 coats. So hang on a minute while I gotta go get the spackle, so I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the spackle. Same stuff I've been using. This Fast and Final lightweight spackle. Okay, I'm gonna just use my fingers for this because what I have to do is I really got to just rub it down inside here. Okay, and there's no better way to do that than just with my hand. So I'm just going to push it down inside all the little pock marks, Doesn't have to be perfect because this part of it is just, I'm just filling it for now, and then we'll put a finish coat on it later to do a to finish it off. It's very hard to tell if I've got it perfectly symmetrical or not, because the difference between the foam and the Gorilla Glue foam, it's just impossible to tell if I've got it symmetrically right or not. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do this, and then I'm going to put a final coat of this on it, and we're going to sand it smooth, and then I'm going to shoot some primer on it, and the primer is going to let me see if where I need to sand it to smooth it out to get it consistent. So that's how I'm going to play that. Okay, so again, I'm not doing this for a final at all. I don't want to. I think some of these pock marks are going to be too deep to dry if I fill them. So I'm really just getting stuff down in them, and we'll let that dry, and then we'll put a second coat over it to actually smooth it out. So that's all the more I'm going to do. You can still see the pock marks, but they're mostly filled in now. So it's filled enough. We'll let this dry, and then we'll go back over it with a second coat to get it where I want it, and then we'll sand that and then paint it. Okay, we're back. So I showed you what it looked like, the Gorilla Glue, and how porous it is and everything. Okay, and then here's the back side of it after I cut through the you can see it is very faintly, you can see where the spackle has filled in, and you can still see some of the pock marks there. So that's what it looks like. All right, and I'm not sure, it's hard to tell when it's white like this, so I'm going to go shoot some primer on it right now, and then we'll look at it again and see what it looks like. So just stand by, we'll be right back. Okay, so I put some primer on it, and that covered up all the uglies in the thing, but it's showing me some new stuff too now. So now I can definitely tell that looking at this, it looks like I'm slightly high right here on this side over here. So I'm going to have to sand that down a little more. And then I definitely have to break these edges here on the sides, on both sides here, because there's a definite, I want that to just be a smooth transition, and there's a definite line there that now that I'm looking at it through the primer, it's definitely showing up. But overall, it's coming out pretty good. Now, we had a little reaction from I'm using Rust-Oleum primer, and it is reacting with the bare foam, and it just fuzzed it a little bit, no big deal. And there's a super easy fix for that. Let me see if I can get that up there close so you can see the fuzz. It's kind of washed, the lights are washing it out for some reason. There's no light right there. Anyway, no big deal. It's just a little fuzzy. So the fix for that is I'm going to use the clear coat that doesn't attack the foam, and I'll clear it before I prime it, and that'll keep the primer from attacking the clear coat, or the bare foam. So that's a simple fix, no big deal there. Super easy to take care of that. So that's what we got, guys. And again, just to remind you what we did is, this is what this is supposed to look like. This big ugly intake that I don't like on this plane, and we shaved that off to this. So now the scoop is gone, and we just have that nice rolled bottom there. And I think that looks much better. Now, I've been looking online at the wrist. For you guys that say, oh, well, you should have left it on there because it's factory. Well, listen, the scoop is not supposed to be this thick, okay? When I've gone online and looked at this airplane, you know, these two pieces go together like this, okay? And that goes across, the bottom of the wing is here, okay? So this would be sitting this way. And the bottom of the wing is here, and the fuselage is here, and the wing starts right here. And it's not supposed to be anywhere near this thick. The scoop is supposed to be much thinner. It's supposed to be back farther. It's not this close to the prop. This is just a bad rendition of what this plane should look like, and that's why I don't mind modifying it to just take the scoop off, because it just looks terrible with the scoop. So we're going to do some more fine work on this, but you can see where, you know, it went from that, you know, super pokey, full of holes, to this much smoother, and yeah, you can see that little bit right up here is where the, there's a little bit of, you know, it fuzzed up the foam a little bit. So, okay, so that's it. Till I get some more, I'm going to do, I got to sand all this down now to break this edge all the way around on both sides and around the front here. And we got to take that little bit of a hump over here that's too high. We'll take that off. And then I'll show you, you know, round 2 of this. So, don't go away. Okay. So, I've got a final done on here. What I did was, it looks really goofy, but what it is, I put a dark primer on it, and then I covered it, I sanded on a light, I put a light primer over that and then sanded it. And this shows all the little imperfections between the two different primers, okay, to get it baby smooth. You can see a little bit of foam texture here. Let me see if I can get a little closer to the camera. I have to go around the wing here. Or maybe if I do this, let's just take the plane down off of here a minute. Okay, so you can see the foam cells in it, okay? And I'm not necessarily trying to get those out. I don't care if there's a little bit of that in there, because there is on the rest of it, but this is how you get it absolutely smooth. You know, you block it, you put a couple different colors of paint on it, and you block it out, and I'm good. I think my final here now is good enough. I think I'm going to go with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go spray a white primer on it to get it white, and then I'm going to spray the light blue on it. And I'm not going to show you it again until it's finished, because this is what's important. This is where I finished it up to make sure that everything looks symmetrical. There were no creases where it changes from the radius. It's all, you know, it's probably not perfect, but it's close enough. Okay, so there's no reason to show you again until it's finished product, and that'll be the light blue again. So I'm going to go shoot some white on it just to make a base color so the blue covers easier, because I'll have to put too many coats of blue on it to cover this dark, but the white it'll cover quickly. So I'll be right back. That's the end of that. Okay, so I did tell you guys before I was going to paint it, you know, the plane on camera, so I guess I'll paint this on camera too. So here it is in primer, and I got a green glove on, so my hand's invisible. Isn't that cool? Okay, so let's think my paint might be a little too thick. Really not getting the spray pattern I want. It's a little too fine. I don't know if I can open that up or not. Let me try here. So it's starting to turn that light blue color. Which is the color we're looking for. Think that looks pretty damn good. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. Then we might put another coat on it. But let's just, for comparison purposes here. Here's the cowl before. Here's the cowl after. Yeah, the color's not right. The guy that mixed this paint's not right. Not even close. That's odd. The sample on the top looks right. Huh. I wonder if it has to do with something that, well, you know what, it's probably wet. Let's let it dry. Yeah, I think it's going to darken up when it dries. So let's let it dry. So I'm going to stop the paint. We're not going to watch paint dry. So be right back. Okay, so I'm back and we got the final product now. It's finished on the airplane. Just a quick recap. So I took this scoop here that is incorrect. You know, if you look up this particular model, this scoop is all wrong. It's too big. It comes too. The prop is right here. It's way too close to the prop, and I'll get a closer up with that in a minute. And I got the finished product here on the plane. We're gonna zoom in and look at that. But yeah, this is just wrong, and I don't like it, so I cut it off. All right, I bought two of these, so I had an extra one, so I cut it off. I may I think I might leave the scoop on the second plane, but I'm going to still shave it down because it's still way too thick. This area here is way too thick. So, but I don't know. That'll be the second plane. But the finished product here, let me change cameras. Again, I filled this with Gorilla Glue, this whole cavity here. Let me switch cameras and we'll get into this. Okay. So I filled this whole cavity here with Gorilla Glue. All right, let it dry. I shaved it off a little bit because there's a belly of the fuselage that has to go into this concave area here. So I had to shave a little of that off, and then I just cut the spoiler off. So here it is. It was several cuts, but basically, that's the spoiler. There's all the Gorilla Glue, the yellow in the middle here with all the pinholes in it, you see. Okay, shaved that off, sanded it down smooth, and painted it, and here's the final product. So no more scoop. It feathers right into the bottom of the wing. Here, let me pick this up and get a better look at that. You know, so it doesn't go down the wing. Okay, it stops flush with the wing. Yeah, I got paint. It matches the paint perfectly. So it looks really good. It came out really good. I'm really happy with it. That's the final product. We did away with that stupid scoop. And if I do it on the other plane, I'll probably modify this. I may leave the scoop. I doubt it, but I may. But it's going to get shaved way down clean like it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this big, massive scoop with that much on the bottom of the wing, because there's a piece that extends on here onto the wing, and that's not the way the real one is. The real one stops at the wing root anyway. Even though it's got a scoop on it like this, you know, it tapers up and stops at the wing root anyway. So you know, the leading edge of the wing, this is just not right at all, and I didn't like it. And this is way too close to the prop, because this is the prop right here. Okay, the prop sits here just like this, and you can see the scoop is right there, you know, at the prop, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. You can go look it up. It's an Nkvb, okay, and there's versions with and without the scoop, but the one with the scoop does not look like this. Unless you're looking at the model, this. You know, if you go find a picture of this, it looks just like this. So anyway, that's the final product. Came out beautiful. Paint matched. I had to adjust the paint match. This paint came from Home Depot. It was Glidden, a Glidden sample, and it was just a shade too light. You know, it had like a grayish, just a hair gray. So I took a little bit of my Tiger Cat navy blue, and I just got a little bit on the stick, put it in my little cup of mixed it up, and that was perfect. It matches absolutely right on the money. It looks great. So that's the finished product, guys. I hope you like that whole you know, how I did it and the way I did it. And again, Gorilla Glue with water is a great way to modify airplanes. And this is very durable. This is much stronger than just plain foam. The Gorilla Glue, even though it shaves and sands very easily, it's a little denser than foam. And so it's pretty durable. When you're done sanding it and then feather filling it with the putty, the wall spackle, and sand it down, it comes out really smooth and it's very durable. So there it is. I'm really happy with it. I think it looks great. And that'll do it for this little spoiler modification or air intake modification / delete on this Hobby King Spitfire. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comments at the bottom, and we'll see you on the next video. Talk to you later. See ya.